Okay. Do we have Jorge Munoz Carranza back there?
Your Honor,
Jorge
Dominic Cunningham for
Munoz.
the Office of the Public Defender.
Good morning, Ms.
Good
Cunningham.
morning. I just wanted to, for appearances.
I appreciate it.
Sí, te escucho.
All right,
Can
good
hear the
morning, sir. Can you
interpreter,
tell
Your
us your
Honor.
name, please?
Jorge Muñoz.
Jorge Munoz.
All right, Mr. Munoz, I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. It appears you were picked up on a violation of probation, and your bond has been set at none. And will remain that way until you can get in front of the trial judge. If you have any questions, ask your attorney, okay? All right, best of luck to you, sir. And the last Spanish interpreter case should be Rudy Robledo, I believe. And Madam Interpreter, it looks like we have a witness as well.
Okay, perfect, Your Honor.
And both attorneys, if you have a challenge to probable cause or anything like that, feel free to interrupt me. Feel free to say it before we start. Otherwise, I'm just going to move, but I don't want you to feel like you can't say anything, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll be happy to hear any arguments anybody wants to make at any time. All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell us your name, please?
Rudy Robledo.
Ruby Robledo.
All right, Mr. Robledo, you're here on the charge in 2021 CF 15122 for the charge of aggravated battery on a pregnant person. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. It does appear we have a witness. Ma'am, can you tell us your name, please?
Julie,
Do you speak English?
Spanish,
¿Usted habla inglés, señora?
español.
Spanish. Díganos su nombre, por favor.
Julie Encarnación,
Julie Encarnación.
All right, Ms. Encarnacion, can you tell us your relationship to Mr. Robledo?
Señora Encarnación, ¿usted nos puede decir cuál es su parentesco con el señor Robledo?
somos pareja, tenemos un niño y otro en camino.
We are a couple. We have one child and another one on the way.
All right, Ms. Robledo, I'm sorry, Ms. Encarnacion, Mr. Robledo's here on aggravated battery charges.
Señora Encarnación, el señor Robledo está aquí porque ha sido acusado de agresión, de amenaza. Amenaza de agresión.
What would you like to tell the court this morning?
¿Qué le quiere decir usted al juez en esta mañana?
No, que no pasó nada, o sea, solo fue una simple discusión de pareja.
Nothing happened. It was just a simple couple argument.
Okay, do the attorneys have any questions for her?
¿Los abogados tienen alguna pregunta que le quieran hacer a ella?
Ma'am, do you want contact with Mr. Robledo?
Señora, ¿usted quiere tener contacto con el señor Robledo?
Bueno, tenemos un niño, o sea, es nuestra obligación tener contacto.
Well, we do have a child together. It's our obligation to be able to have contact.
So does that mean you do want contact?
¿Eso quiere decir que usted quiere tener contacto y comunicación con él?
Sí,
Yes.
Are you afraid of him at all?
¿Usted le teme a él?
no,
If anything were to happen, would you hesitate to call 911?
Si algo pasara, ¿usted dudaría llamar al 911?
No,
No,
No further questions, Your Honor.
no tengo ninguna otra pregunta, Su Señoría.
Okay, State, do you want any questions?
Good morning, Ms. Encarnacion. Was the defendant using either drugs or alcohol before this happened?
Muy buenos días, señora Encarnación. El acusado estaba usando drogas o alcohol antes de que ocurriera este incidente.
no,
No.
Has he ever been physically aggressive with you prior to this incident?
Antes de este incidente, ¿él alguna vez ha sido agresivo físicamente contra usted? ¿Alguna vez en el pasado?
no.
No.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gracias.
Your Honor, based off of the witness's responses, we'd be asking for no hostile contact.
Okay, thank you.
Señoría, basado en las respuestas del testigo, estamos pidiendo que se le permita tener contacto que no sea hostil. Bien. Gracias.
All right, I reviewed the affidavit. I'm going to find probable cause.
Yo he repasado la affidavit acusatoria y hallo que hay causas que respaldan la acusación.
I'm going to set your bond at $5,000.
Your Honor, if I may. Mr. Robledo disqualified for pretrial release.
Okay,
Ah,
sorry, Madam
el
Attorney.
señor Robledo es elegible para libertad preventiva.
Okay, we're still going to set it at $5,000. We're not going to do pretrial release on this case.
Aún así, no va a poder participar del programa de libertad preventiva. La fianza en este caso es de $5,000.
I am going to order that you have no contact with the victim in this case. I'm going to order that you are allowed back to the residence one time with the assistance of law enforcement to gather your belongings.
Usted no va a poder tener contacto con la alegada víctima, en este caso por el momento. Se le permite regresar a la vivienda en una sola ocasión, acompañado de un policía para retirar sus artículos personales.
You're also to possess no weapons or firearms.
Tampoco puede poseer ningún tipo de armas de fuego o armas mortales.
If you have any questions, ask your attorney. And best of luck to you, sir.
Cualquier pregunta que tenga, señor, hágaselas a su abogado. Buena suerte para usted.
Thank you, ma'am.
Eso es todo. Thank you, Your Honor. May all you have a happy Thanksgiving.
I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving as well.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, do we have Mitsakar or Alberto Narvaez back there?
Mitzi Cartis. Or do you like me on it? Okay.
Want the AC on in here? Good grief. Morning, ma'am. We'll get to you in just a second, okay? Are you Miss Carr?
Yes.
Okay, can we have your attorney's appearance for the
Yes,
record?
Your Honor. Mark Longwell on behalf of Mitzi Carr.
Okay, thank you, Miss Carr. You're here on the charge of battery, domestic violence. I have reviewed the affidavit. I'm going to find probable cause. We have a witness here, so well, before I do that, Mr. Longwell, do you have anything you would like to say before we hear from the witness?
Sure. Obviously, I have some adversarial probable cause arguments, but that's not our purpose today. For non-adversarial, I did think the police report was a bit confusing. However, regardless, I'm going to be asking for ROR release and no hostile contact. The incident occurred at my client's home. The alleged victim doesn't live at that home. So those are some of the issues I want to raise, and depending also on what the alleged victim's testimony is.
All right, ma'am, can you tell us your name, please?
Jackie Greathouse.
And say that last name one more time.
Greathouse.
Great House?
Greathouse.
Great House, okay. Miss Greathouse, what would you like to tell the court this morning?
Okay. This is my sister. My mom has Alzheimer's. My mom, since my other sister died, my mom has been residing with me at my home in Satellite Beach. We went on vacation. We left my mom with my sister because she offered to watch her.
Well, Ms. Grayhouse, let me caution you on this. We don't need to hear everything that happened today. Today, we're just worried about her conditions of release. So, do you feel safe with her coming home?
I do. My husband got worried because she wanted me to leave her house. My mom was trying to get me to take her with her, but my mom was supposed to stay with her for Thanksgiving. Mom's getting up to go. Mitzi's like, get out of my house. And she like lunged at me, shoved me, whatever. Her husband got between us, tried to get her away from me. My husband runs outside and calls the police.
Well, Ms. Grayhouse.
And I was on my way out.
There'll be another day for us to hear what happened in
Okay,
the case.
she's my sister. I don't want her here. I told the police I didn't want to file a report. I didn't know that this was going to happen.
Okay.
It's just hard when you have an Alzheimer's mom who's confused. Mitzi wanted her to stay with her. I was just trying to calm her down. It was a whole series of horrible things, but we were on our way at the door. This happened at the door. She was not home when I brought my mom back to her house after we took her to dinner. That's the only reason I went in her house. My husband was waiting in the car. Her
Ms.
husband was there and he
Ms.
said,
Grayhouse, we don't need to hear what happened today.
I'm sorry.
That's not what we're here for today. Just, I need to know
I didn't know.
as to conditions of release. So if that you feel safe if she comes home, or you feel safe if you have contact with her?
She can text me. If she wants to text me. I feel like we just need to have an arrangement for my mom.
Okay,
do
do you feel afraid to have face-to-face contact with her?
I mean, I'm fine. I live in Brevard County. I don't think she'll bother me.
Do you feel
I
safe?
love her. She's my
Ma'am,
sister, and
ma'am,
I feel
ma'am,
safe.
Do you
I
feel safe having face-to-face contact with her?
Sure, yes.
Okay, Mr. Longwell, do you have any questions for her?
Just briefly, I understand you told the police you don't want her arrested, correct?
Correct.
And I understand you don't want to prosecute or have this case prosecuted, correct?
Correct.
And is your position that despite the issues and the difficulties with your mother and her Alzheimer's condition and the arrangement that needs to be made, you don't fear your sister, correct?
Correct. I just don't want any more.
You don't want the confrontation over your
Text.
mother, but you don't otherwise fear your sister, correct?
Correct. As long as she stops threatening texts and like verbally attacking me, I'm fine. She's not going to, she's my sister. Like we're not, brothers and sisters squabble, like argue, whatever. We
Okay.
just need an arrangement for my mom. I want Mitzi to have time with my mom, but I can't be harassed. So I would like us to both.
We're not here to resolve the issues about your mother today. The only question is contact between you and Mitzi, which I understand is necessary to be able to talk about your mother, and you're okay with having at least non-hostile contact, correct?
Non-hostile contact.
Okay.
Through phone or text.
Okay, State, do you have any questions?
I'm sorry, ma'am, good morning. Is your mother living with you or is she living with the defendant?
She's been living with me since September 2020, and that's where she believes her home is, although my niece is living in her actual home.
All right, thank you.
She's very confused.
Thank you.
She's very confused, but she loves my sister too. She loves her. We just need to have an arrangement, an agreement, because Mom was wanting to go home.
Thank you, ma'am.
So
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Then what I'm inclined to do is just release her onto pretrial release. So she qualifies, I believe.
She does.
Okay. Then we're going to release her just to pretrial release. You're not going to have a bond. And we're going to say, or I shouldn't say that. I should say she's otherwise on her own recognizance other than pretrial release and no hostile contact with the victim in this case. You understand, ma'am?
Actually, Your Honor, I don't know what pretrial release entails these days specifically, but I might prefer to ask for just a $500 bond if that's the case. I know there's some administrative aspects to PTR, and if a $500 bond makes it easier and cleaner for her to bond out, then I would just request that if that's possible.
Okay. We'll set it at $500. We won't do pretrial release, and she's to have no hostile contact with the victim. Okay, ma'am?
yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate your patience.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving,
You
everybody.
too.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right. Next should be Alberto Narvaez.
Take as many as you want. It's all Steve.
Found a mask.
Do. I have one.
All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell us your name, please?
Roberto Narvaez.
And can we have appearances on behalf of Mr. Narvaez?
Good morning, Your Honor. Ernie Mullins, entering limited appearance for Mr. Narvaez for the purposes of this hearing. Mr. Narvaez is apparently charged with a RICO violation. There are 5 counts. Presently, bond is set in the amount of $100,000 on the first 2 counts and $50,000 on the third count, $2,500 on the fourth count, and $1,000 on the last count. Now, as to this case, Your Honor, it's our belief, upon information and belief, that Mr. Narvaez either was not connected with the racketeer, influence, and corrupt organization, or was a minor player in it. And that's according to the 400-page affidavit that has been submitted in this case to support the warrant. Now, as to that, Your Honor, that document is under seal by order of Judge Tynan, so I haven't had a chance to look at that, but that's our understanding that even that alleges. Now, with respect to the bond, we would ask that the bonds be reset or be reduced to $10,000 for the first 2 counts and $5,000 for the, $5,000 for the third count. The fourth and fifth count, we would ask that those bonds remain as they are presently set. Your Honor, Mr. Narvaez also was getting implants, dental implants done when he was arrested, and he has stitches that need to come out, and he's risking infection right now and can't eat. But we would ask the court to take that into account when considering our request. Also, Your Honor, Mr. Narvaez has ties to the community and can testify to that.
Okay, thank you, sir. I have received the 350 pages that have been stated, and I know Judge Tynan has reviewed that as well. So I'm going to stay the bonds at this point. As to count 1, it's $100,000. Count 2, $100,000. Count 3, $50,000. Count 4, $2,500, and count 5, $1,000 for a total of $253,500. And you are to have no contact with the co-defendants in this case. That doesn't mean the bond can't be reduced with your attorney or an attorney at the trial court level. Just means as of right now, that's what your bonds are going to be. Okay, sir? And if you have any questions, you can talk to your attorney. Is there anything else I can do for either party?
Okay, that's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Everybody. Is this where we're at? Is that this one? I haven't put the PR paperwork on all.
It's okay.
Sir, what's your name?
My name is Paul Quinones, sir.
Just one moment. All right, Mr. Quinones, you are here on the municipal violation for camping. I'm
Yes.
going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. The state attorney is here.
Your Honor, I believe we're going to try to resolve this with a plea if the court would be willing to take it. We're just trying to figure out if this is going to be an adjudication or withhold.
Mr. Chairman, I can't find his priors. I don't know if the court has.
I can't hear what you're saying.
I'm sorry. I'm looking for his file since the call out of turn. I don't have his priors print out, Your Honor. I will leave it to the court's discretion to withhold or adjudicate.
Usually, if you leave it at my discretion, I just do adjudications on these, but if the state wants to offer a withhold,
As
then
the
I'll
state
do it
has,
too.
the state would offer a withhold. We have no objections.
Your Honor, we do have a signed plea form from Mr. Quinones. The agreement is a withhold of adjudication credit for time served in court costs. May I approach?
You may. All right, Mr. Quinones, can you raise your right hand and be sworn in by the clerk, please?
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Quinones, is it your intention to enter a plea of no contest into the municipal charge of camping today?
Yes, sir.
Are you entering this plea voluntarily and freely?
Voluntarily, yes, sir.
Has anybody coerced you or forced you to enter this plea today?
No, sir.
What's the latest grade you completed?
I have a GED, sir.
You have a GED?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that if you are not a United States citizen, you will be deported for entering this plea?
Yes, sir. I understand that.
Have you had a chance to review this plea form with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did she answer any questions you had about it?
Yes, sir. She did.
And do you agree with everything that this plea form says and understand those are the rights you're giving up here today?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to find that your plea is entered voluntarily, that you have had the assistance of counsel, and that you understand the consequences of your plea. How do you plead to the charge of camping?
No contest, sir.
All right, we'll enter that plea, and I will withhold adjudication pursuant to the state's plea offer and sentence you to credit time served. Best of luck to you, sir, and have a great Thanksgiving. Oh, one moment, sorry. What the court costs are $223. You'll have a year to pay those, okay? All right, best of luck to you.
Am I to be released today?
Yes.
All right, good morning, ma'am. Can you tell us your name, please?
Tejrie.
All right, ma'am, you're here on the charge of trespass on property after warning. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you in this case. I have reviewed the affidavit. I'm going to find probable cause.
Your Honor, if I may?
Yes, ma'am.
We do have an agreement with the state attorney. I've gone over it with Ms. Rue. The agreement is adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court costs, and no return to the 7-Eleven located at 901 South Orange Blossom Trail. Would the court be willing to take that this morning?
Yes, if the state, is that your plea offer?
Yes, that's agreed to, yes.
Yep, you can approach.
You're gonna-
All right, Ms. Rue, I'm going to have you sworn in by the clerk, okay? Raise your right hand, please.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is it your desire to enter a plea to the charge of trespass on property after warming here today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol?
No, sir.
Are you entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Is anyone forcing you to take this plea?
No, sir.
You're not entering it freely and voluntarily?
Oh, yes. Yes.
You are entering it freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
Okay. Has anyone forced or coerced you to enter this plea?
No.
Okay, do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you'll be deported if you enter this plea?
Yes.
All right, did you have a chance to look at this plea form that I'm holding up?
Hmm?
Just say yes or no, because we're,
Yes.
okay, thank you. And is that your signature at the bottom of this page?
Yes, sir.
And have you had a chance to review this with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
And has she answered any questions you have about it?
Yes, sir.
How do you wish to plead to the charge of trespass on property after warning?
No contest.
I'll find that your plea is free and voluntarily given, that you're not being forced or to give the plea, that you understand the consequences of your plea, and that you've had a chance to review it with the assistance of counsel. I'll sentence you to an adjudication, credit time served, court costs, and you are not to return to the 7-Eleven at 901 South Orange Blossom Trail. You're also going to have court costs in the amount of $273, and you're going to have a year to pay those, okay?
Okay.
All right, best of luck to you, ma'am.
Your Honor, I do believe she's being held on a warrant
Okay.
that she was picked up on. I don't know if we need.
Is it an out-of-county warrant?
Yes, Your Honor.
Fugitive from justice from Louisiana.
Does it usually take about 72 hours for them to pick them up for those?
I think it takes a little longer than
Takes
that.
a little longer than that?
Yeah, because it's
You're
out
out
of
of state?
state.
Okay, you're going to be held until they pick you up
Okay,
on that
so how
warrant.
many days do they have? Like, I know it's like a time frame they have to come get me before I'm released.
I don't know the answer to that question, ma'am.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
all with extradition. So when someone comes to speak with you from extradition and you sign over your waiver, that's when they'll get the okay to come pick you up.
Okay, when I'm gonna speak to one of them.
Maybe sometime next week, because this is the holidays and the weekend.
So how do I go about speaking to one of them?
They'll come to you.
Arraignment?
Mhm.
Oh, this is the one she wanted to plea out. Next, Brian Jennings. He's not up here. You're all gonna tick off Judge Gibson. Okay.
Your Honor, we'd ask for this to be reset. There is an offer extended to Mr. Jennings and
I
it's
know.
credit time served.
We can reset it for tomorrow, please. I want to reset it for tomorrow. Judge Gibson will be all over me if we don't reset that tomorrow.
Excuse me?
I'm talking to clerk. Sorry. All right, sir, can you tell us your name, please? All right, Mr. Gent, you are here on the charge of battery in 2021 MM 8312. I'm going to appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. I have reviewed the affidavit. I will find probable cause. I know you don't qualify for the public defender, but because of COVID, we typically appoint the public defender at initial appearances for at least just these purposes. So, with that being said, I'm going to set your bond at $2,500. Do you live with the victim? All right, then I'm going to order you to have no contact with the victim. If you do live with the victim, you are to maintain a separate residence. You'd be allowed back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to get any belongings that you had, and you're also ordered not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any questions, please talk to your attorney. And best of luck to you, sir. That's what I was working with. I didn't want to miss you. Morning, sir. Can you tell us your name, please?
Jeremiah Elliott.
All right, Mr. Elliott, you were picked up on a failure to appear in 2019 CF 13842. Looks like you also had a failure to appear in 2020 CF 8621. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Okay, hold on.
You had two capiases out, and they both stated that your bond is none. So you're going to be held until you see the trial court judge.
Say that again?
You had two capiases issued by judges for your failure to appear in those cases, and they set the bond at none. So you're going to be held until you see the trial court judge. Okay?
I'm gonna be held where?
Here. You have no bond.
I will let them know what's going on as soon as possible.
If you have any questions, talk to your lawyer, but essentially you're going to be held until you see the trial court judge, okay?
I wanna be held until I see the trial.
Trial court judge. The
When,
judges that have your case.
now, how long would that be?
I don't know. You'll have to talk to your lawyer about that, sir. I don't know when your next hearing is going to be.
I will make sure I get in contact with your attorney and let them know.
But, can I ask a question?
Sir, you can say whatever you want. You can ask whatever you want, but everything you say is being recorded. So you might want to talk to your lawyer first, but if you want to, you can say what you want to.
No, that's what I'm saying. They end up dropping all charges on my case, and I was incompetent. I was incompetent to even come to court and anything. That's what I'm saying. So at the time, my doctor, he told me to go to Expire. I went to Expire, and I was going there back and forth, and I kept on going there, trying to, take care of what I had to take care of there. I'm saying, I can't do anything right now.
That's correct.
So
I will let an attorney know so that they.
Sir, I apologize. We got a bunch of cases this morning, so we got to keep moving.
Yes.
See. Oh, you want me to try to do it? No. I think the next case is supposed to be a sign interpreter, so we're seeing if we can get, but they're not answering us, so.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that right? No. I don't know how that's gonna work.
Can you put her over there and then just run the TV? Oh, I didn't know all of that. Could you put the TV so that you can see it? I don't know if she will be able to.
What'd you say? Sorry.
I know, well, the camera point to her. That's the problem.
Is this Miss Asbury?
No, Your Honor. Oh.
Yes. Ma'am, what's your name? It's Murphy? Give us 1 second, we're messing with the sign interpreter. All right, ma'am, you can go into the podium. Thank you, thank you. All right, good morning. Can you tell us your name, please?
Jennifer Murray Murphy.
All right, Ms. Murphy, you are. Send it to me. You're here on a VOP, and you're also here in 2020 CF 10207 on the charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. It says Miss Kathleen Medling represents you on that case. Is that correct?
Correct.
Should I try and see if she's on the line? Is that- Do you know if she had any plans to call in today?
No idea.
Okay. You haven't talked to her since you've been in custody?
No, I haven't. I haven't been capable to speak to anybody at all.
Okay. All right. Well, there was already a warrant signed for your arrest on the violation of probation. So for now, what's going to happen is you're going to be held on no bond as to the violation of probation and the charge that you were out on bond on aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, which is 20 CF 10207. I'm going to appoint, I guess, the Office of the Public Defender for the VOP for today.
Yes, Your Honor.
As to the aggravated assault, Kathleen Medling has already filed a notice of appearance, I believe, in that case. So be sure to talk to your lawyers about what's going on, and they'll answer any questions for you, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Best of luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell us your name, please?
Summerall.
Mr. Summerall, you're here on a violation of probation. There was a warrant signed for your arrest and the bond was set at none. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. And it's going to stay at none until you are able to get in front of the trial judge or there's a motion and order filed by the trial court judge. If you have any questions, you can ask your attorney, and best of luck to you, sir. Okay, I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender.
Your Honor, we'll waive her appearance.
One second.
Okay.
The PD has been appointed. Ms. Torres was picked up on a violation of probation signed by Judge Adam McGinnis. Her bond was set at $5,000, and that's what it will stay at. Sir, can you tell us your name, please?
Javar Carter.
All right, Mr. Carter, you were picked up on the charges of false imprisonment, domestic violence, and battery domestic violence. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. I have reviewed the affidavit. I'm going to find probable cause. We do have a witness here. Ma'am, can you hear me okay? You have to speak up in there because we can't hear you very well, okay?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us your name, please?
Daria Carter.
No, yell that one more time because I have the doors shut behind me.
Daria Carter.
And what's your relationship to Mr. Carter over here?
That's my husband.
Okay. Does the defense or state have any questions for Ms. Carter?
Ms. Carter, do you wish to have contact with Mr. Carter? I'm sorry, could you say it into the mic?
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
State have any questions?
Ma'am, good morning. Are you in fear of the defendant?
Yes.
No further questions.
Okay. Mr. Carter, we're going to set your bond amounts as to false imprisonment at $2,500. As to the domestic charge, we're going to set it at $500. I'm going to order you to not have any contact with the victim. Do you live with the victim, sir?
Yes, sir.
If you live with the victim, I'm going to order you to maintain a separate residence. You'll be allowed one time back with law enforcement to gather any belongings that you need. I'm going to also order that you don't possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any questions, talk to your lawyer, and best of luck to you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Sir?
No contact. Oh. I don't think I can do that without her attorney being, the defense attorney being here, without the defendant being here. So no. We'd have to call them back up, and I think they're not going to be able to do that. Can I open it? I don't know, can I? Right here? I'm not going to hit an alarm, am I? The white one? Not the gray one? The gray one? There we go. Well, is the victim's here? Yeah, you can bring her up. We'll talk to her. We'll tell her what happened at least. I don't know what happened, so we'll have to get that case back. I don't remember what happened. All right, sir, can you tell us your name, please?
Datron Winston Ekins, sir.
Okay. Mr. Ekins, you're here on case 2021 CF 142060 for 2 counts of battery by strangulation, domestic violence. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. I did review the affidavit. Well, actually, there's a warrant. Sorry, I take that back. So the probable cause has already been found in your case. Mr. Ekins, you live with the alleged victim in this case?
No, sir, no longer.
I'm going to set your bond as to count 1 at $2,500. I'm going to set your bond as to count 2 at $1,000. I'm going to order you to have no contact with the victim. That means no contact, no texting, no getting anybody else to talk to her, nothing.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to order that if you do live with her, that you maintain a separate residence, that you're allowed one time back to retrieve any belongings that you have.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
With the assistance of law enforcement, and that you possess no weapons or firearms, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, if you have any questions, talk to your lawyer, and best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning. Can I have your name, please?
Zara Johnson.
Ms. Johnson, you are here on case 2021 CF 15121 for the charges of battery, domestic violence, and battery by strangulation. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. I did review the affidavit in this case. I will find that there's probable cause. I'm going to set your bond as to count 1 at $500 and your bond at count 2 as to $1,000. Do you live with the alleged victim in this case?
I'm sorry?
Do you live with the victim?
I do. I do have another apartment though in New York. I do have money to get a hotel room if I can't go there.
Then what we're going to do today is we're going to order that you have no contact with the victim, that you maintain a separate residence. If you need to go back to the residence, I'm going to allow you to go one time with law enforcement to gather any belongings that you have. You're also not to possess any weapons or firearms, okay?
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes, ma'am.
she does qualify for pretrial release.
I'm sorry. I was actually going to ask about that.
Your Honor, I do not believe that she has any history.
Steve, do you want to be heard as a pretrial release?
It doesn't appear that she has a prior convictions or arrest history. The state would not oppose a lower bond with PTR.
Your Honor, we would ask for straight PTR.
Okay. Well, then we won't do a bond. We'll just do straight pretrial release, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, best luck to you, ma'am.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
if they qualify for PTR, do you want me to stop you and let you know?
If you want PTR, I want you to tell me.
Okay.
Because otherwise I don't really pay attention to it. Sometimes they don't want PTR either for various reasons, so. All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell us your name, please?
Good morning, Jeremy Williams, sir.
Mr. Williams, you're here in case 2021 CF 15099 for aggravated battery on a pregnant person. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. I have reviewed the affidavit. I am going to find that there is probable cause. I'm going to set your bond as to that count at $5,000. I'm going to order you to have no contact with the victim. You're also to maintain a separate residence from the victim if you live with them. You're allowed one time back with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that you have. You're also not to possess any weapons, firearms.
Stay in Sanford.
You're also not to possess any weapons or firearms. And if you have any questions, please talk to your lawyer, and best of luck to you.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Morning, ma'am. Can you tell us your name, please?
Ira Panero.
All right, Ms. Panera, you're here on 2021 MM 8305 for the charge of battery, domestic violence. I have reviewed the affidavit. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Your Honor, she does qualify for pretrial release.
State have an objection to pretrial release?
The state has no objection.
Okay, we're going to release you to pretrial release, straight pretrial release. I'm going to order that you have no contact with the victim in this case. Do you live with the victim, Ms. Panera?
Yes.
I'm going to order you to, while this case is pending, to maintain a separate residence. You're going to be allowed one time back with the assistance of law enforcement to get any belongings that you have. You also are not to possess any weapons or firearms. You understand?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
If you have any questions, talk to your attorney, and best of luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Do I know what a Cisco link is? I think it's one of these. Oh, I don't know. All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell us your name, please?
Ezekiel Jamal Akins.
Mr. Akins, you're here on a couple cases. First one is a capias that was issued for your arrest in 2020 CF 13498. The bonds amounts have been set in that case already. It looks like you were ROR'd as to burglary of a dwelling, ROR'd as to grand theft as a firearm, which means released on your own recognizance. $2,000 as to grand theft motor vehicle, and you were released on your own recognizance for criminal mischief. The conditions of release in that case are no contact with the victim, co-defendant, or witnesses. You are to maintain a separate residence from the victim if you do live with the victim in that case. You'd be allowed one time back with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings of yours, and you are not to return to the scene of the offense in that case.
Yes, sir.
As to 2021 CF 15122, you picked up the charges of possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, possession of cannabis, and possession of drug paraphernalia. We'll stay the bonds at all those counts, which is $1,000 as to count one, $150 as to count two, and $150 as to count two, and $100 as to count three. And I'm going to order not to possess any alcohol or drugs. If you have any questions, talk to your attorney, and best of luck to you, sir. Did I miss anything?
Your Honor, I'm sorry, what did you do with his RORs on the other cases?
It was a capias, so I can't change them.
Okay.
So they're staying that way.
This is what you want.
Stayed all that, yeah. I stayed everything. Everything was stayed. And there was conditions. The one I said no. Great, thank you. All right, Ms. Caldwell will find her refusal a willful waiver of appearance today. As to 2021 CF 4781, she has an attorney, Benjamin Jones. As to the new charge of trafficking and possession of meth and possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, for today's hearing, we'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender. I have reviewed the affidavit as to the new charge, and I will find probable cause. In case 2021 CF 15136, we'll set the bonds as to $25,000 as to count one, $5,000 as to count two, and we'll stay the bonds as count 3 and 4 at $1,500 and $500. As to the case she's out on bond on for fleeing and attempting to elude, we'll revoke her bond as to that case. Morning, ma'am. Can I have your name, please?
Claire.
Last name?
Chive.
Okay, Ms. Chad, you're here in case 2021 CF 15030 for the charges of aggravated battery and trespass in a property other than a structure or conveyance. There was a warrant issued for your arrest. In that case, I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender. The warrant sets your bond at $5,000 and $500, which is the amounts we'll impose here today.
Your Honor, if I may?
Yes,
She
ma'am.
does qualify for pretrial release.
Not for aggravated battery. Sorry. We'll stay the bonds. You're also ordered no contact with the victims, no return to the scene, and no weapons or firearms. Best of luck to you, ma'am.
This is yours. Ma'am.
Okay, we'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent her.
Your Honor, we'd waive her appearance.
Probable cause was previously found in this case that there was a warrant issued for her arrest. We'll set her bond as to $1,500 is to each count. She's to possess no weapons and no firearms. That'll take care of that. All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell us your name, please? You can step at the podium, sorry.
Marcus Clark.
Mr. Clark, you are here for, in case 2021 CF 15123 for grand theft motor vehicle, possession of cocaine, resisting an officer without violence, and driving while license suspended. You were also out on bond in case 2021 CF 2307. 2020 MM 7228. I believe that's it. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. I reviewed the affidavit. I will find probable cause. Will stay your bonds as to the new charge in 2021 CF 15123 at $1,000 to count one, $150 as to count two, and $100 as to count three. As to the cases that you're out on bond, we are going to revoke your bond in 2020 CF 2307 and 2020 MM 7228. If you have any questions, talk to your lawyer, and best of luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, are you staying the bond on the driving case?
Am I staying the bond in the driving?
The driving while I suspended?
Oh, that's, he had another one, didn't he? Sorry. Yeah, we'll stay the bond in that case. That's $500, and I will review that real quick because he just came in on that. Hold on.
Sure.
And we'll find probable cause. Sign language. Is this one now? Is that the sign language one? All right, good morning, sir. Can I have your name, please?
Stephen Anthony Garrison.
Okay, Mr. Garrison, you're here on the charges of possession of cocaine with intent to sell, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of or consumption of alcohol in public. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Yes.
Give me 1 second. Okay. I have reviewed the affidavit. I will find probable cause. I know there was a bond correctional sheet filed setting the bond at $15,000, but what we'll do is we'll keep the bond at what it was originally in the affidavit. So we'll set it at $2,000 as to count one and $150 as to count two. I'm going to order you not to possess any drugs or alcohol, sir. And if you have any questions, talk to your lawyer. Best of luck to you.
Okay.
And you're staying the bond in the alcohol case?
Yes. Sorry, those city ones, they slip in there sometimes. Yes. Yes. Who is this?
Mr. Gutierrez Rodriguez.
We're gonna try we want to try the interpreter case real quick. The sign language interpreter. In the same case? I'll try the interpreter line. I don't know if
I
that
think
works.
they said in the affidavit that the victim's friend was gonna translate for her. We can just focus on the defendant.
That's fine for her, but we can't do that for the defendant.
Yeah, just for the victim.
I don't know if they're on the interpreter line, but we were gonna have to get them on the screen. No, it's not on.
The defendant.
Can we see if the interpreter is on there yet? Or am I supposed to do that? Is it just the interpreter line?
I think so, yeah.
Might be video conference.
Yes.
I've done this before, I should know better.
Welcome to an Econo meeting. You are entering the meeting now. You are the only participant.
It's not a good sign.
Welcome to an Econo meeting. You are entering the meeting now. You are the only participant.
She emailed back. You don't have a link?
No,
Excuse me. Can we get the pen?
We're on the video.
You are the only participant.
She reminds us. See if that link works. I know. Do we have an interpreter on the line?
I know trouble, but nobody to hear my voice.
We're writing. He can talk, but I'm not sure if he can hear much.
Did he give up? All right, we're gonna come back to it, ma'am. I'm sorry. You just have a seat back. Try again once so I know they're on the line. That one might have cost me some turkey. All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell us your name, please?
Bernardo Gutierrez.
Mr. Gutierrez, you're here in case 2021 CF 15105 on 2 counts of attempted second-degree murder with a weapon, fleeing and eluding with high speed, and resisting an officer without violence. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. I have reviewed the affidavit. I'm going to find probable cause as to all counts. I do believe attempted second-degree murder with a weapon is a punished by life felony. Does either the state or the defense want to be heard as to bond?
I agree, Your Honor.
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. Then, Mr. Gutierrez Rodriguez, what you're going to do right now is we're going to hold you at no bond as to counts 1 and 2. You're entitled probably to what we call an Arthur hearing, which will be set in front of the trial court judge to determine whether or not you're eligible for bond. As to fleeing and eluding, I don't think that it's proper for him to be held at no bond. We'll set the bond in that case at $5,000. We'll set the resisting officer without violence will stay at $500. You're to have no contact with the alleged victims in the case. And if you are released, you are to maintain a separate residence. You can go back with law enforcement one time to pick up any belongings you have. And you are not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you have any questions, talk to your lawyer, and good luck to you, sir.
We're going to set you for an Arthur hearing. That Arthur hearing will be open right now.
Morning, sir. Can I have your name, please? You said Donald what? Okay, thank you, sir. You're here in case 2019 CF 14130 for 5 counts of failure to appear, 2 counts of dealing in stolen property, burglary of a conveyance, receiving money from a pawnbroker, and petty theft.
No, Your Honor, he's just here on the FTA warrant. The FTA warrant is the same case as he was previously in jail for.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So you're here just on failure to appear. There's already been a capias issued for your arrest in that case. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. The bonds on the capias are set at none, so you're going to have no bond until you see the trial judge or a further order from the court. If you have any
Your Honor, may I
questions?
have a moment?
Yes, ma'am. He's got a, you have an attorney, sir?
Excuse me?
You have an attorney?
Jason Bankowitz, I believe, sir.
Okay, do you know if he was gonna appear today? Did you talk to him in the last couple?
I've been in jail almost 7 months.
You've been in jail almost 7 months.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm double checking to see if he was in jail when this warrant was issued.
Yeah, he's been in jail since May 14th of this year.
And was Mr. Bankowitz representing you on this case?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I apologize. The failures to appear were for 2019 CF 1413.
Yes.
Your Honor, it looks like 2019 CF 1413. It looks like that case is closed. No information notice was filed in July of 2019.
Are you looking at 14130?
29. Give me one moment, Your Honor. No, I missed a zero.
Yeah, so that's still open. We're looking at it.
0.
When's the last time you talked to Mr. Bankowitz?
I haven't, sir.
Ever?
No,
You've never talked to your attorney ever in this case?
no, sir.
Is there a notice of appearance, ma'am? I'm not sure he represents you in this case. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, in abundance of caution, we'll just appoint. I think there were previous conflicts in this case, so you went through Public Defender's Office, the Regional Conflict Counsel's office. Who is that?
So.
Okay.
Yes. No.
Does he have? Do we have a phone number he can call his attorney?
Your Honor, for Jason Bankowitz,
Yeah, he needs.
I do have 407-425-6068, according to the clerk site.
Is he going to have access to that information so he can call his attorney?
I will make sure I write it on his paperwork.
Okay. So you need to call your attorney if you have trouble doing that. Why don't we reset him tomorrow and give you an opportunity to call your attorney today, okay?
Thank you.
And Your Honor, just for the court's knowledge, it does look like there's correspondence from Mr. Hopkins to the judge stating that he hasn't been able to get in contact with his attorney.
Yeah, I'm gonna order Mr. Bankowitz to appear tomorrow. Well, not order him, but let's see if we can get Mr. Can we get notice out to Mr. Bankowitz at all to appear tomorrow? Well, he's got somebody that's been sitting in jail for months. He needs a visit sometime this year. Sir, if you talk to Mr. Bankowitz today, or if you leave a message, tell him that he needs to be in court tomorrow, okay?
Thank you. Sir.
You can tell him we'll start around his cases around 11:30.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes. What is this? What's going on? Okay, Miss Lee, we'll appoint the office of the public defender. You're on Grand Theft Auto. On probable cause, and we'll stay the bond at $1,000. Good morning, sir. What's your name?
Trayvon Lewis, sir.
All right, Mr. Lewis, you're here on case 2021 CF 15021,
Yes, sir.
which is home invasion robbery with a firearm, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, and grand theft, third degree.
Yes, sir.
You're also here in case 2021 CF 15137 for possession of methamphetamine with intent to sell. You were picked up on arrest warrants. Probable cause was already found as to 2021 CF 15021. I'm going to appoint the office of the public defender to represent you. And I also find probable cause for possession of methamphetamine with intent to sell. Okay. As to 2021 CF 15021, I believe home invasion robbery with firearm is a punishable by life felony. Does either the defense or state wish to be heard as to bond?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Lewis, you're going to be held as to no bond on the count of home invasion robbery with a firearm. You are entitled to have a Arthur hearing, a proof evident presumption great hearing, where you'll determine whether or not you can be released to bond as to that count once you're in front of the trial judge.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Can you please repeat that?
As to count one, home invasion robbery with a firearm, right now you're going to be held in no bond as to that count because it's punishable by life felony, and you might not be entitled to it. You have an attorney, you're going to have a hearing on whether or not you're entitled to that bond. It's called an Arthur hearing, okay? So at that time, the trial judge is going to determine whether or not you're entitled to bond on that count, and that count only. We'll stay the bonds as to the other amounts in the arrest warrant, which I'm trying to find. Hold on. There'll be 10,000 as to count 2 and 2,500 as to count 3. And as possession of methamphetamine with intent to sell, it'll be stated.
Your Honor, may I have one moment?
Sure, it'll be stated at $2,500. In the event that he is released, we'll order that he not to have any contact with any of the victims in this case. That he not possess any drugs or alcohol in both cases. That he not possess any firearms or weapons. And that he not return to the scene of the crime in 2021 CF 15021.
No.
Hold on, make sure you want to.
He's not good.
Take your time, man. We're going to see if this interpreter is on real quick.
Yes, Your Honor.
Welcome to an Econo meeting. You are entering the meeting now.
Madam Interpreter, are you on the line? Testing, testing. I see the video down there. I don't see her on it. No, it's usually on this one, I think. I don't know, though. Maybe I'll call her on the phone line.
Good morning. Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Dalia Romero, the Spanish interpreter.
Wrong interpreter. I'm sorry for bugging you.
Are you trying? No, it's okay because I have a sign interpreter trying to log in,
Yes.
and she says I'm reading her messages because she can hear the courtroom. She's the only participant, is what she's telling me on.
Hold on one second.
And you said it says.
Hold on one second, please.
Turn that TV on.
She's on it right now, Madam Interpreter.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, are you speaking to the Spanish interpreter? What was your? Yeah, she says she's connected. She's saying that the meeting is asking her for meeting ID and passcode. Does anyone know what that might be?
Hold on.
That's it, Judge. What you just got to turn the monitor on. Hold on. Hold on.
We're on the phone right now with the interpreter. I gotta get off of that. Ma'am, we're gonna try something else, okay? So we're just gonna disconnect for a second.
Not a problem. Thank you, Your Honor.
Who said, "Hey, Judge"?
No, Your Honor, that's the sign interpreter. I have her on the line as well.
Okay, we're gonna try the video. Hold on.
Welcome to an Econo meeting.
Are we done with
You are entering the meeting now.
Madam Interpreter, are you on the line? Can you hear me? Yes.
Your Honor, I was just inquiring on if we were done with Mr. Lewis.
Yes, I was just holding if you had anything else.
No, Your Honor.
No, we're done with you, Mr. Lewis. Have a best of luck to you. All right, let me see this. Let me see this.
Welcome to an Econo meeting. You are entering the meeting now.
Well, we're not ready for him yet. Sorry. No. I will make it abundantly clear when we're ready. My hands will go up in the air. It'll look like someone scored a touchdown. There's no interpreter on the line, right?
It's a sign
No, I get it. Believe me, I get it. Everybody wants turkey right now.
He said, put it on the phone.
We're ready for the next person, though, if you're waiting on me. We're not doing sign language until I have somebody and I'm looking at them. So don't even bring them up here. I don't know what I've done now. I hope I still am on the record. All right, good morning, sir. Can I have your name, please?
Kyrie Leon Little.
Mr. Little, I'm going to appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. You were picked up on a capias for failure to appear. The judge set your bonds at none, so you're going to be held at no bond until you get in front of the trial judge or there's further order from the court. If you have any questions, talk to your lawyer. Best of luck to you, sir.
Take this with you. I'm not your attorney.
Morning, sir. Can I have your name, please?
Michael Mauk, sir.
Mr. Mauk, you're here in case 2021 CF 15103 for aggravated assault with a weapon, a phrase, battery, and in 2021 CF 12532 aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. You're also out on bond for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in case 2021 CF 12532, which I already just said. Apologies for the redundancy. I'm going to appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. Give me 1 second.
Yes, I was going to say that wasn't redundant, Your Honor. He is out on bond on that case. What happened was the bondsman came off that case, but he was never IA'd. You get it?
So he was never out on bond on it?
No, he is out on bond on it.
Okay.
But the bondsman endorsed the case.
The bondsman endorsed it, but he was out on bond. Okay. I'm not sure I know what that means, but okay. Are you saying he bonded out before he had IAs?
Yes, previously.
Okay.
Previously before.
On the 2021 CF 12532.
Correct.
Gotcha. I understand now. Okay, I review the affidavit. I'm going to find probable cause. As to 2021 CF 15103, we are going to stay your bonds in the amount of $5,000 as count 1, 100 as count 2, and 100 as count 3. I'm going to order you to have no contact with the victim, not to possess any weapons or firearms. In case 2021 CF 12532, where you're out on bond for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, I'm going to revoke your bond and you will be held at no bond, sir, until you are seen by the trial judge or upon further order of the court. If you have any questions, talk to your lawyer and best of luck to you.
Take that with you. Take that with you.
Never know who's talking. Morning, sir. Can I have your name, please?
Thomas Nelson.
Mr. Nelson, you're on a municipal violation of possession and consumption of alcohol in a public parking lot. And you're also here in case 2021 CF 15119 in possession of cocaine. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. I will find that there is probable cause. As to possession of cocaine, we'll set your bond at $500. We'll stay your bond at possession of consumption of alcohol at $250. You are not to return to the scene, and you're not to possess any drugs or alcohol. Best of luck to you, sir. If you have any questions, please talk to your attorney.
1 second.
500 for the possession. Morning, sir. Can I have your name, please?
Rodolfo Jonathan Perez.
Mr. Perez, you're here in case 2021 CF 14869A for the charges of RICO, conspiracy to commit RICO, conspiracy to traffic and a controlled substance 3 times, so 3 counts of conspiracy to traffic and a controlled substance, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. There was a warrant already issued for your arrest where probable cause was found. The bond amounts that were set in that warrant are as follows. In count 1, your bond's $100,000. As to count 2, your bond's $100,000. As to count 3, your bond's $250,000. As to count 4, your bond's $250,000. As to count 5, your bond is $250,000. As to count 6, your bond is $1,000, for a total of $951,000. You are not to have any contact with your co-defendants if you are released out on bond. If you have any questions, talk to your lawyer, and best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Morning, sir. Can I have your name, please?
Well, Portier.
Mr. Poitier, you're here in case 2021 CF 15093 for aggravated assault on a person 65 years or older with a deadly weapon and battery on a person 65 years or older.
Your Honor, he does qualify for pretrial release.
I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Give me 1 moment. Okay, we're not going to do pretrial release. We'll stay the bonds in the amount of $5,000 as to count 1, $2,500 as to count 2. I'm going to order you not to possess any weapons or firearms, and you're not to have any contact with the victims in this case. If you have any questions, talk to your lawyer, and best of luck to you, sir. What was his first name? Okay. He's in the hospital. All right, we'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender.
Your Honor, we'll waive his appearance.
He's here on a possession of cocaine KPS where the bond's set at $500. He's not to possess any alcohol, illegal drugs, or controlled substances without a valid prescription in that case. He's also here at a failure to appear where his bond was set at $500 as well by KPS. So we'll just stay all those bonds pursuant to the KPSs. Good morning, sir. Can I have your name, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do we know what happened with Kevin Rivera? Kevin Rivera? I don't know where it is ever.
2102-7428.
Bonded.
No.
Sorry. We're all mixed up here. Okay, Mr. Rodriguez, you are here in case 2021 CF 9766 for grand theft motor vehicle, possession of cocaine, possession of oxycodone, and possession of drug paraphernalia. You're here in case 2020 CF 5472 for failure to appear. And you're here in case 2020 CF 9603 for attempted first-degree murder with a firearm.
No, Your Honor. That case was revoked by Osceola, but he's not being seen on that case today.
Okay.
He's also seen on the 21 CF 9766 case. The grand theft motor vehicle?
9766.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I said
Okay.
that first,
All right.
but thank you.
Welcome.
As to the failure to appear, you had a capias issued by a judge where the bond amounts have been set at none, so I'm unable to change those here to IAs, so you're gonna have to go in front of the trial judge if you wanna bond us to those cases. As to 2021 CF 96766, if I haven't already done so, I'm gonna appoint the Office of the Public Defender. There was a warrant issued for your arrest in those cases, so probable cause has already been found. And we'll stay the bond at the amount said in the warrant at $5,000 as count one, $1,500 as count two, $1,500 as count three, $100 as count four, and $500 as count five. If you have any questions, sir, talk to your lawyer, and best of luck to you. Thank you. Morning, ma'am. Can I have your name, please?
Morning. My name is Shankivia Ross.
Ms. Ross, you're here in case 2021 CF 15127 for the charge of criminal mischief. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. I am aware that you qualify for pretrial release. Give me one moment. I will find probable cause exists for criminal mischief. State, do you have an objection to pretrial release?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, does the defense want pretrial release?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ross, we're going to let you out on straight pretrial release. You are to have no contact with the victim in this case, and you are to have no possession of any weapons or firearms. You understand? All right, best of luck to you, ma'am. Morning, sir. Can I have your name, please?
Jonathan Tackett.
Mr. Tackett, you are here in case 20. Take that back. Hold on. Yeah, 2021 CF 1514. You've been charged with traffic in methamphetamines, over 28 grams, possession of methamphetamine with intent to sell, possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting an officer without violence. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. I think this is a co-defendant that we had previously.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Yeah. All right, then I'm going to find probable cause exists for the charges. As to the new charges, as to trafficking in methamphetamine, we'll set your bond at $25,000. As to possession of methamphetamine with intent to sell, we'll set it at $5,000. And we'll stay the bonds as to count 3, 4, and 5, $1,500 and $500. You're not to possess any drugs or alcohol. You're to have no contact with the co-defendant in this case.
Your Honor, could you repeat the last 3 bonds? I'm sorry.
They're going to be stayed at $1,500 and $500.
Thank you.
As to case 2021 CF 4791, where you're out on bond, we're going to revoke your bond in that case. You'll have no bond until you're received by the trial judge in that case. Best of luck to you, sir. If you have any questions, talk to your lawyer, okay? Try another.
Hello, Cisco Unity Connection Messaging System. From a touch-tone telephone, you may dial an extension at any time. For a directory of extensions, press 4. Otherwise, please hold for an operator.
Is anybody on the
Sorry,
line?
the operator is not available. Record your message at the tone.
Let me try this.
Welcome to an Econo meeting. You are entering the meeting now.
I don't see anybody. All right, sir, can I have your name, please?
Yes, St. Jeremy Tamat.
All right, Mr. Tamat, you're here in case 2021 CF 15096. You're here on the charges of possession of a firearm with an altered serial number, carrying a concealed firearm, possession of cannabis, possession of controlled substance with intent to sell, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of cocaine. You're also here in case 2020 MM 6659. That doesn't make any sense. Or 2020 CF 12926 for carrying a concealed firearm, which you were previously on pretrial release for. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Your Honor, if I may be heard.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Tamat would like the court to know that he does have several small children that he does take care of, as well as other responsibilities which require him to continue working a full-time job so that he can pay for these things financially. So he would be asking to have a bond set.
Well, I believe he's probably entitled to a bond on the new charge.
Yes, Your Honor.
Give me 1 second. I will find probable cause as to count one. We'll set bond at $2,500. As to count two, we'll set bond at $500. As to count three, we'll set it at $500. As to count four, we'll set it at $500. As to count five, we'll set it at $250. And as to count six, we'll set it at $250. You are to possess no weapons or firearms in that case. You are to possess no drugs or alcohol. As to the carrying concealed firearm charge that you were out on pretrial release for, we're going to revoke your bond in that case. You're going to be held at no bond under that case until you're seen by the trial judge. If you have any questions, you may talk to your lawyer and ask them questions, and best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Morning, sir. Can I have your name, please?
Anthony Suarez Diaz, good morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Suarez Diaz, you're here for failure to appear in case 2018 MM 9608 and 2020 MM 7226. There have already been habeas issued in those cases. As to 28 MM 9608, your bond has been set at $4,000 as to each count. And in 2020 MM 7226, your bond has been set at $2,000 for the sole count in that case. If I didn't say that already, I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender. If you have any questions, be sure to ask her. And best of luck to you, sir.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I apologize. Mr. Suarez Diaz would ask the court to consider lowering these bonds as he cannot financially afford them.
Mr. Suarez Diaz, I cannot lower the bonds today. They're capiouses, and therefore they are unable to be altered at initial appearance by me, okay? You're going to have to get in front of the trial judge first.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Best of luck to you.
Because it's a you have to go back.
Good morning, sir. Can I have your name, please?
Roderick Blandon.
Mr. Blandon, you were here for driving under the influence and driving under the influence with property damage in 21 CT 7751 and in 21 CT 7752. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Why do I have all this? I will find there's probable cause. We'll stay the bonds as the amount in the affidavit. As to count one, it's $100. As to count two, it's $1,000. You're not to possess any drugs or alcohol while you're out on bond. If you have any questions, ask your attorney, and best of luck to you. Morning, sir. Can I have your name, please?
Jerome Ramtran.
All right. You're here in 21 CT 1077 for no valid driver's license. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. I will find probable cause exists for that charge. We'll stay the bond at $500. If you have any questions, talk to your lawyer, and best of luck to you, sir. Morning, sir.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Or is it good afternoon? Sorry about that. I've been saying morning for a while now. Can I have your name, please?
Mark Scott.
All right, Mr. Scott, you're here for DUI, property damage, or personal injury. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. This is case 2021 CT 7753. find that there's probable cause, say your bond in the amount of $1,000. You're not to have any drugs or alcohol while you're out on bond. If you have any questions, talk to your lawyer, and best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Morning, sir. Can I have your name?
David Brown.
David Brown?
Sir.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Brown, you're here on the case of 2021 MM 8311 for the crime of possession of drug paraphernalia. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
the state does have an offer for this case. It's an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served and court costs. Would the court be willing to take that this morning or this afternoon?
Yes,
May I approach?
you may. Thank you. All right, Mr. Brown, is it your wish to enter a plea of no contest here today to the charge of drug paraphernalia?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone forced or coerced you into entering this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you doing so freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, you'll be deported for entering this plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's the highest grade you completed?
High school. Graduated high school.
Okay. Did you review this plea form with your attorney that I'm holding up in my hand?
Yes.
Is
Yes,
that your
Your Honor.
signature on this plea
Yes, Your
form?
Honor.
Okay. And how do you plead to the charge of possession of drug paraphernalia?
No contest.
All right. I'll accept your plea. I'll find it's freely and voluntarily entered. And that no one has forced or coerced you to enter this plea, and that you find that you understand the consequences of this plea, and that you've had the assistance of counsel. I'll sentence you to an adjudication, credit time served, and court costs in the amount of and you'll have it. Did you hear that amount, sir? $273. You'll have a year to pay that.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Your Honor, Alexander Field, he bonded.
Thank you. All right, good morning, ma'am, or good afternoon, ma'am. Can I have your name, please?
My name is Jonna Lynn Williamson.
Do we know what happened with Kirsty Mueller? 21-027-434.
She bonded.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Williamson, you are here in case 2021 MM 8308 for the charge of battery.
Your Honor.
I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, the state has no objection to ROR in this case.
Okay. Hold on 1 second, please. I'm reading. Hold on. We're not waiting. We'll wait. I will find that there's probable cause. See that she has had 9 prior misdemeanors and a failure to appear.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
If I remember this case correctly, the reason why the defense would be asking for ROR is I believe the battery was a kiss on the hand.
So because based on the facts of the case, Your Honor, we believe that an ROR would be appropriate in this case.
Okay. Or release her on her own recognizance. You're not to have any contact with the victim, okay, ma'am? All right, best luck to you. Good afternoon, sir. Can I have your name, please?
Jesus Martinez.
Gotta speak up.
Jesus Martinez.
Okay. Do we know what happened to a Thomas Davenport? 21027411.
He bonded.
You said Martinez Jimenez?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sorry, you're here in case 2021 CF 53351 on an out-of-county warrant. That warrant is holding you at no bond, so you're going to be held at no bond until you're able to be transported to where that warrant is out of,
Brevard.
Brevard County. And usually that takes about 72 hours, but with the holidays, that might be a little bit longer. But once you get to Brevard, you can address it with the judges over there, okay? If you have any questions, talk to your lawyer, appoint the public defender for the hearing today, and best luck to you. Okay, I'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent her.
Your Honor, we'd waive her appearance.
She's here on an out-of-county warrant, and she's to be held at no bond. Wait. Okay, yeah, she's to be held at no bond. So she'll just wait at no bond until she's transported. All right, sir, you can go to the podium. Okay, I'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent Mr. Borakez.
Your Honor, can we reset this case? No, not you.
Is there a reason to believe that he won't be in behavior tomorrow?
No, but there's an offer on this case, so I would like to have him reset.
There's an offer on this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
He was already reset from yesterday.
He was out on bond in aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, too.
I understand, Your Honor, but I'd like to speak with him about this case so that he doesn't have two things holding him.
Okay. Well, we're not going to reset it. We're going to handle it today. So hold on one second.
Your Honor, just for the record, I did not waive his appearance.
I understand. All right, I reviewed the affidavit for trespass. I'm going to find probable cause, set his bond, stay his bond at $500 as to this case. That case, as to the case he was out on bond in 2021 CF 12326. Sorry, he was released on his own or cognizant in that case. Will revoke his bond. He's to be held at no bond. Okay. Sir, what's your name?
Atkins Damian.
Mr. Atkins, you're here on a violation of probation in 2016 CF 3060. There was a warrant issued for your arrest where the judge ordered that you be held at no bond. The court will state that at this time you'll be held at no bond on the violation of probation. I'll appoint the office of the public defender. If you have any questions, ask them, and best of luck to you, sir. Morning, sir. Can I have your name? Or afternoon, sorry.
Joshua Dontre Haywood.
Mr. Haywood, you're here in case 2021 CF 14198 for grand theft of a firearm and 2019 CF 7978 for violation of probation. Looks like you were out on bond for the 14198 case.
Your Honor, actually, he's not really considered out on bond because that is the case that caused his VOP, but he is being seen on that because the bondsman did endorse it, and he was never I-8 on the case before he bonded out.
Okay.
So you can just disregard the add-on bond.
I'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent you. 1 second. Is he even here on the grand theft of a firearm case?
He would need to be seen on it due to the bondsman's came off his bonds.
See an affidavit on it. Hold on. Yeah, it's in the very back. It hid from me. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. As to 21 CF 14198, I will find probable cause. We'll stay the bond in the amount of $5,000. That's the violation of probation in case 2019 CF 7978. There's a warrant issued for your arrest in that case, and you'll be held at no bond as previously ordered by Judge Barber until you see the judge. If you have any questions, ask your attorney, and best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Can I have your name, please?
Harrison Hugas.
Hugas, you're here on a violation of probation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge previously signed a warrant for your arrest on a violation of probation, ordering you to be held at no bond. So at this time, you'll be held at no bond. I'll appoint the office of the public defender to represent you. If you have any questions, ask her, and best of luck to you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Can I have your name?
Jackie Jackson.
Mr. Jackson, you're here in case 2021 CF 4881 and 2021 CF 2942. For failure to appear and violation of probation respectively, you're also here in 2021 CF 12304 for possession of cocaine and tampering with evidence. I'm going to appoint the office of the public defender to represent you. There was a warrant signed and ordered by Judge O'Kane for your arrest on the violation of probation, setting your bond at none. On the failure to appear, there was a capias issued to your arrest in case 2021 CF 4881, setting your bond at $10,000. And there was a warrant signed for your arrest in the possession of cocaine and tampering where probable cause was already found, setting your bond at $1,000 as to count 1 and $500 as to count 2. I'll also order that you not possess any drugs or alcohol in that case. If you have any questions, sir, please talk to your lawyer, and best of luck to you.
So,
right, good morning, sir, or good afternoon, I'm sorry. Can you say your name for us, please?
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Sebastian Giovanni Matthew Soto.
Mr. Matthew Soto, you were picked up on a violation of probation in case 2018 CF 12052. There appears to have been a warrant already signed by Judge Tanya Wilson, setting your bond at none and ordering it not to be modified. So you'll be held at no bond. Appoint the Office of the Public Defender. If you have any questions, ask your lawyer, and best of luck to you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. Can I have your name, please?
Robert Menace Mendez.
You're here in case 2018 CF 10108 and 2018 CF 13640 for violations of probation.
Correction, Your Honor. He's only here on the 2018 10108 AOK. Okay.
Judge Calderon already signed a warrant for his violation of probation, setting the bond at none, so he'll stay at none until seen by the trial court. Appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent you. If you have any questions, ask your attorney, and best of luck to you.
Notify your attorney so that they know what's going on.
Good afternoon, sir. Can I have your name, please?
Vladimir Pena Cabrera.
All right, Mr. Pena Cabrera, you're here in case 2020 CF 14407 and 2020 CF 909 for violations of probation. Here's a warrant in case 2020 CF 909 signed by Judge Wooten, holding you at no bond. And also in 2020 CF 14407, holding you at no bond. Appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. If you have any questions, talk to your lawyer, and best of luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Can I have your name, please?
Zamora.
All right, Mr. Zamora, you're here in case 2021 CF 8508 for failure to appear. 2021 CF 15128 for possession of fentanyl, possession or providing false identification to law enforcement, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Looks like you're also here on 2 other violations of probation. Someone say, Your Honor? No?
No.
I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. 1 second. In case 20 CF 135432 for violation of probation. I don't know what I'm looking at. And 20 CF 14076. You're being held at no bond as to those violations of probation. Yes. For 2021 CF 85808 for failure to appear, the judge issued a KPS and set the bond at $5,000. As to 2021 CF 14128, give me 1 second. And we'll find probable cause. We'll stay the bonds at $1,000 as to count one for possession of fentanyl, $100 for providing false ID to law enforcement officer in count two, and $100 for possession of drug paraphernalia. If you have any questions, ask your attorney, and best of luck to you. Good afternoon, sir. Can I have your name, please?
Yes, sir. It's Denver Randall Freeman.
Sir Freeman, you're here on a disorderly conduct municipal violation. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Your Honor, the defense would be asking if the court would be willing to extend an offer for this municipal ordinance.
Yeah, Mr. Freeman, if you want to plead today, I'll do adjudication credit time served and court costs.
Thank you. And I apologize. I've been getting picked up so much for city ordinances. I'm waiting on the city of Orlando to house me right now. I'm the #1 person on the Section 8 housing list waiting list. So I should be off the street soon.
Okay, thank you. After you're done signing that, go ahead and raise your right hand for me, okay?
Thank you.
I tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, Mr. Freeman, is it your wish to enter a plea to disorderly conduct today?
Yes, it is.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol?
No, I'm not.
Is anyone forcing you or coercing you into entering this plea?
No, they're not.
Are you freely and voluntarily entering this plea?
I am, sir.
What's the highest grade you completed?
I went to 12th grade, but I didn't make it out of school.
Did you complete 11th grade?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in you being deported?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a plea form?
Yes, Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes, ma'am.
I apologize.
Oh, you're okay. You're working. All right, Mr. Freeman, have you had a chance to review this plea form?
I have.
Is that your signature at the bottom of the page?
It is, sir.
And have you had a chance to read it and understand all the rights that you're giving up in entering this plea?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Freeman, well, what do you plea as to the count of disorderly conduct?
No contest.
All right, I'll find your plea is freely and voluntarily entered, that you're not being forced into this plea, that you understand the consequences of your plea, and you've had the assistance of counsel. We'll enter an adjudication, sentence you to credit time served, and court costs in the amount of $223, which you'll have a year to pay, okay?
Okay.
All right, best of luck to you. Happy Thanksgiving. Good afternoon, sir. Can I have your name, please?
Tari Jones.
All right, Mr. Jones, you're here for the municipal violation of disorderly conduct.
Yes, sir.
You were also on pretrial diversion for driving under the influence in 2020 CT 636.
Your Honor, if I may be heard.
We'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, the defense would ask that no action be taken on the pretrial diversion for the DUI. He's already in the program. So I'm not sure that this would qualify to actually reject him from the pretrial diversion program.
I think only the state attorney's office can reject them for the pretrial diversion.
Yes, Your Honor. So because I do not believe that this will reject him, we would be asking for there to be no action taken. We'd also be asking if the court would be willing to extend an offer on this case.
Well, if he pleads to it, he might definitely get rejected. You sure you want to do that today? We're going to try something because we got that.
Your Honor? Based on conversation with Mr. Jones, he stated that he would not like to take an offer today, but the defense would ask for ROR. Based off of the affidavit, it just looks like the officers did observe a fight. Mr. Jones has stated that he was trying to break up the fight. That's the only reason that he was involved. For that reason, would be asking for ROR at this time.
I'm not inclined to ROR him. I'm gonna stay his bond at $250. I will find probable cause. Ms. Jones, if you have any questions, talk to your attorney. I don't know what's gonna happen with the other case. I'm not gonna take any action as to it today. Best luck to you, sir. Okay, isn't there a victim here from Osceola? Let's have her come in. You remember what case that was? You
First one is the first one.
Yes, we'll see. Hang on. Morning, ma'am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I'm sorry you've been waiting all morning. I heard you had a rough time of it.
Yes, I did.
It's a wonderful time to spend your Thanksgiving, I know. There's something you wanted to say to the court? Or do you want to know what happened?
I want to know what happened.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what happened. His bond, Mr. Cadet's bond was $5,000 as to count one, $2,500 as to count two. He was ordered, are you the victim in the case?
Yes.
He was ordered not to have any contact with you. He was ordered to maintain a separate residence. He was ordered that he go back one time with law enforcement to get his belongings if he wants. He's also ordered not to consume any alcohol or beverages or possess any drugs, and he was ordered not to have any firearms or weapons. Do you have any questions about that?
If I do want to have contact with him, like,
If you want to have contact with him, I would contact the public defender's office in Osceola County, okay? And ask them and talk to them about it, because he cannot talk to you right now, okay? He's under a court order not to talk to you. So you'll get his bond revoked if you talk to him. So I would talk to his attorneys, and right now I believe his attorneys were appointed to the public defender's office, so I'd call them, okay?
okay, so you said that right now his bond is how much?
5,000 as to count one and 2,500, so it's $7,500.
Okay. And you said that I cannot have any contact with him.
Well, the order's for him, so you're not gonna get in trouble if you have contact with him, but he could have his bond revoked. So if he bonds out and has contact with you, and it gets to me or to another judge, then his bond's gonna get set probably at none, and he's gonna be held without bond until the case is resolved. So there's that chance. You understand?
So it wouldn't make any difference, like, if I was here, like, because I was here this morning, you know?
I don't know. I don't remember the case. I can't tell you if it would have made a difference, but he can get in. That's why I'm telling you to reach out to the public defender's office. They can set a motion in front of a judge to have that issue heard.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. Best of luck to you, ma'am. I know it's been a rough morning. Thanks for hanging with us.
Okay, thank you.
And can we have the sign language guy come in and the family come in?
Do we have an interpreter?
No.
Okay.
No, we don't. They gave up. They probably started eating. Okay. What I'm inclined to do here is, since everybody can read and write, and they've been waiting all morning, kind of just want to try to do the best we can writing it down.
Your Honor, respectfully, I would object to that and ask that this to be rolled to tomorrow so that we can have a sign language interpreter so everyone is clear on what's going on. I do understand that the witness is here with a sign language interpreter, but my client would not know what's going on. if the court would be so inclined to take the witness's testimony today, and then we can bring Mr. Mr. Asbury back tomorrow with a sign language interpreter so that he's properly informed on what's going on.
I don't think we can take her testimony today, at least like this, because she's not a certified interpreter that's interpreting right now.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand. May I have a moment?
Sure. Ma'am, do you have any questions for me right now while they're talking?
If you issue a no contact, is that a temporary restraining order?
Not a restraining order, it just means his bond could get revoked if he contacts her.
I'm sorry, can you say that again? I couldn't hear.
His bond will get revoked, meaning he'll stay in jail if he contacts her. That's what that means. You want me to say it again?
No, okay, so he'll stay in jail if he contacts her.
If there's a no contact order, which we're not doing yet, so.
Okay, I see.
I have to work.
Okay. Your Honor, if I would be asking if we could reset this tomorrow with a sign language interpreter. Mr. Asbury has explained as long as we're able to get the bond situated before Monday. So as long as he would have the opportunity to get out if the court were to give him a bond, he would be fine resetting it to tomorrow.
What's her name?
Devin Taylor.
And what's her relationship to Mr. Asbury?
They're in a romantic relationship for 1 year and 3 months, and they've been living together for 6 months.
Does she want contact?
Your Honor, if I may, I'm sorry. Hold on. I would be asking for them to
No,
be
sir.
sworn in before this testimony is taken.
Okay. Can you both raise your right hand?
I understand that question.
You swear, well, the clerk's gonna swear you in. Sorry.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You wanna explain it to her what she just did?
Yes.
Okay. Do you live with him?
Yes, she does.
Do you wanna have contact with him?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
I do believe I've come up with a partial solution.
Okay.
Mr. Asbury has stated that he has no objection to me waiving his appearance so that I can handle this, and then afterwards I can go to the back and write down to him everything that happened. That way we can situate any bonds or anything like that that does not solve the issue of not having a sign language interpreter for the witness. So.
I understand. I'm just gonna treat it as if the witnesses aren't here, even though they are.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I appreciate them being here, but here's what we're gonna do. I obviously have appointed the Public Defender's Office to represent Mr. Asbury. I have reviewed the affidavit. I'm going to find probable cause. We're gonna set bond at $4,000. We're gonna order Mr. Asbury not to have any contact with the victim in this case, maintain a separate residence. He's allowed one time back with law enforcement to retrieve any of his belongings. He's also not to possess any weapons or firearms. If he has any questions, obviously he'll have the opportunity to review this with his lawyer. And best of luck to everyone.
So, Your Honor, what does that mean for us that it's waived that we're here?
I didn't hear what you said. Say that one more
Oh,
time.
I said, Your Honor, what does it mean that you're kind of waiving over the fact that the witness is here?
What does it mean?
Yeah.
It means you're here, but since I can't, we have to have a official interpreter
Okay.
to, we have to have an official interpreter to actually take your testimony officially.
Okay.
If you guys weren't here, I would hold him, I would say no contact. He's supposed to maintain a separate residence anyway.
Okay.
Given that's her inclination, it doesn't make sense to have her come back just to say that. Okay, so basically, I'm doing what she probably wanted anyway, and
Okay.
I'm doing it as legally as possible.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay?
And we will be notified if he is released.
I don't know how that works. Are they notified?
He will get a call.
They will. You'll get a call if he's released.
Okay, and
Or she
he'll
will.
only be released if he posts the bond?
Yes.
Okay, and then once he's released, if he has contact with her, what happens?
Then you notify the police. You call the police. He'll come before the court, and his bond will get revoked for violating a court order.
Okay, thank you so much, Your Honor.
Your
Okay.
Honor, can I ask the court just to make sure the witness is aware that he is allowed to return one time with law enforcement? Because I do know that he has service animals and there's other things to aid him with his everyday life that he's going to have to go get.
Are you aware of that?
Yes, she's aware. I've made her aware.
Okay. Okay. Is there anybody else? Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Your Honor. Happy Thanksgiving.
Anyone else?
I have to call first
Mhm.
before they're coming out.
You know, if everybody hadn't made me wait for interpreters, we would have done earlier.
I can go back to the property and get my key. My neighbor had my key. It's downstairs. We live on the second floor. So I don't know if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead. I think we're still on the record, so it's fine. I don't know how to get off the record.
Your Honor.
Full story.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ashbury he just wants to be clear. They live in an apartment complex. I guess his neighbor does have the keys to his vehicle. Is it okay if he goes to the neighbor's house to get the keys to his vehicle?
I think the statute says he's not allowed within 500 feet of the residence. I think. In fact, it says that on the thing, the no contact order, if he signs that, it says 500 feet.
That's my problem. If they can out.
Tell him to read the no contact order very carefully. All right, see, I'm stuck on this screen.
Library, I don't know if they're open tomorrow. I need somebody, I need like a comforter. I don't have the number. I got her Facebook.